What's up, everybody? Thanks for being here tonight. The gate tonight was 2.6 million USD with attendance of 16,439 for the highest grossing UFC fight night in North American history. The bonuses tonight, there's 4 performance bonuses. Jourdain, Youssef Zalal, Stoltzfus, and Jasmine Jasudavicius. Happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
Yeah.
What's up, Mike?
Good rebound night from the Canadians after Toronto. I guess how important is that to have, good results for the Canadian talent this evening?
So I guess 6-2. Yeah. Excellent. I mean, especially after the Toronto last January. Some good performances tonight, even with Barriault losing. But you saw Dana and Hunter sort of got up and were very complimentary of his performance. I think they just liked, after being on the ground, getting up and just fighting so feverishly until the end. It was a good performance. It was great to have some good momentum with the Canadian athletes tonight.
For sure. And then the non-Canadian athletes at the top of the card. Aaron Blanchfield got a nice win there, lost the first 2 rounds, then came back and won the final 3. I guess what did that show you about like her heart and her grit? Probably something you want to see out of a 25-year-old.
Yeah, absolutely. And keeps climbing. I think the Manon Fiorot blemish, I think she's sort of on track to. I mean, who knows what's in store for her next? I think the call out was Alexa, so we'll see what Dana wants to do on Tuesday.
Yeah, and Brandon Moreno, he kind of took a self-imposed hiatus here and then came back and looked great. I guess, does that show the value of these athletes knowing themselves, knowing when to take breaks, and knowing what's best for your performances like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all his Figgy fights, I think it's been a bit of a, he's like the last 5, he's had a bit of a rocky performance, stops and starts. But nice to see that type of performance tonight. He was a fan favorite immediately too. You saw there was immediate reaction for him from the very beginning, and he was quick, dynamic. The fight was really exciting. I thought there was going to be a finish at the end there. Didn't quite get it, but pretty entertaining for the Edmonton crowd.
Yeah, and given the success of tonight with the gate and the attendance and everything, does that alter the priorities for the next stop in Canada, or do you guys already have plans in place?
No, I don't think it alters our plans. We've got, our wish list. We've got a sequencing of events we want to do between the fight nights and the pay-per-views over the next few years. We talk about it often. It comes down to sometimes it's just arena availability, but Alberta, pound-for-pound province, let's just say, just in terms of the per capita fan base here, strong results in our history in Edmonton. It's historically been a pay-per-view city. It was a great fight night city. We'll probably come back with a pay-per-view at some point, but we need a couple months to figure that out.
Yeah, and both Mike Malott and Jasmine were back here, and they're kind of pushing for Halifax. I know you've been there a few times before. Yeah, is that somewhere on the list of options for? Yeah,
it's on the list. I mean, I think what's happened over the years is our show keeps getting progressively bigger, right? So it's not just about us needing enough seats to sell the tickets that we need to meet our budgetary targets. It's a bigger show. We've got more production. We've got more people coming. We've got more demands on the space. And sometimes what's happening with smaller arenas is we don't have enough room. So Halifax is definitely on the list, but I think we tend to favor bigger hockey rinks like this, NHL, NBA style rinks like this, because they can handle the 2 TV trucks and the amount of backstage space that we need. But man, we had some great nights in Halifax, and it'd be great to get back.
Great show tonight.
Thank you.
I wonder, though, if you could give us an update on Derek Lewis. Obviously, he didn't make the ceremonials yesterday. We said the fight was still on, and then a couple hours later, he was out. So is there any update on what took him out of that fight?
So I think the update, there's really no update beyond what the official release was, which was a non-fight related medical issue, or not weight cut related medical issue. Yeah, I mean, I think the situation yesterday was all happening in real time. So we didn't actually have enough answers at the point of the ceremonial weigh-ins yesterday. He weighed in yesterday morning. He had to cut a bit, but that's not uncommon for him. And then over the course of the afternoon, started to get medical treatment, and we just didn't have any answers. And so at that point, it made most sense for us to, proceed with the weigh-ins with Janice, and try to figure out what was going on before making any decisions. But listen, there's no substitute for taking the safe road when it comes to the athlete health and safety. So it was the right decision for him not to compete.
Absolutely. And then what can you say about the toughness of Amir Albazi in that main event? I mean, Brandon Moreno looked great, but he hung in there right till the end.
Yeah. I mean, you got two of them, the nicest guys on the UFC roster competing against one another, and they're both certified killers. And these guys went at it. Yeah, I mean, he endured, a full barrage from Moreno and kept going. And I think that's, what the fans deserve. It was a great fight.
The last one for me, outside of Canada, I mean, we heard from a number of athletes tonight who said, they don't care if the fans are booing them or cheering them, whatever. They just like fighting in front of fans. So are we going to see more road shows in 2025 kind of leaving the Apex more and more?
Yeah, there will be. There'll be an increased number of events outside of the Apex relative to this year as we get into the 2025 schedule.
With that said, is there always going to be a certain number of Apex events moving forward? Like, it will always be maybe one a month? Or
yeah, I mean, I like, it's tough for us to anticipate what 2 or 3 years down the road is going to look like, but it makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of fighters in Vegas. It's easy for us operationally. It's obviously, simple from a budgetary perspective. The rigor and the pressure and how laborious it can be to be on the road. I mean, you guys know it. You're week in, week out with us and other promotions. It's tough, and so I think having home games and being in the Apex where you can just turn off the lights and lock the door. It makes a lot of sense for us. So, will we ever get back to pre-COVID of no Apex? I don't think so, but I think we're going to find the right balance for us.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, no worries.
Right here.
Yes, sir.
Just speaking about the Apex shows and bringing the show elsewhere, a lot of European fans are longing for what it was like pre-COVID. We had a lot of European shows. We recently had the announcement of Ian Garry versus Joaquin Buckley. A lot of Irish fans thought, that would have made a perfect main event for a Dublin card.
Mm-hmm.
Just wondering, is there plans to go back to Dublin or some other shows in Europe, like we've had mainland Europe in Poland and Germany?
Did you go to the Callum Walsh fight?
I did not myself. I actually live in Canada, but
so great venue, but in a small venue. So could we take our show to that arena? It'd be challenging. We'd have to. It's not an insurmountable challenge. Like we'd be able to do it, but we'd be having a small event. It's a small arena. It doesn't have the space that we need necessarily. So are there more plans? Yes, we're going to be back in the UK next year. Whether that's Dublin, probably London for us next year. And then as we get through next year, which is sort of the last year of our current media deal in the US, and we start to plan out what we want to do in 2026 and beyond in terms of the number of international events that we can have, the intention is to be able to go back to Europe more often.
So you would say it is the size of the arena in Dublin right now that is a kind of a stumbling block.
I mean, Dana's talked about going to Croke Park a few times, but I think no roof, big football stadium is not the right venue for us. But listen, he was so impressed. I think our whole team loved being in Dublin for the Callum Walsh fight. Who knows? Maybe there's another model. Maybe it's a contender series. Maybe it's Dana White looking for a fight. Maybe he takes Callum Walsh back there.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. All right, guys. Thanks for your support this week. Another great event in Edmonton, and obviously another great event in Canada. So appreciate all the help, all the hard work. We'll see you guys soon.
Bright in here.
Good. All right, Aaron. Congratulations. Obviously, that was a big win for you. Just give me your immediate thoughts on the fight.
Yeah, it was a super tough fight. I feel like I won the last 3 rounds and we dropped the first 2. But, I think really good experience.
Yeah, and you dropped the first 2 rounds and managed to come back and win those last 3. What does that do for, I guess, like your confidence and your resiliency and your adaptability and things like that if a fight starts and maybe isn't going the way you want it to?
Yeah, I know I always have them myself. I almost wish I would stop like dropping those first like 1 or 2 rounds. But I knew if I find my timing with that takedown and was able to kind of grind her out, that it would slow her down. And it definitely slowed her down the fourth. I felt like my strikes were doing better and I could beat her there. And then the fifth, I got my takedown again and I knew it was my fight.
Yeah, is that something you notice like in the gym or just in fights that maybe are a little bit of a slow starter?
Yeah, I think just from fights, I've been trying to fix it in the gym and I'll go back and definitely keep trying to fix it. Think so. I mean, I'm fighting a super elite striker, so they're super sharp those first couple of rounds.
Mm-hmm. Was there any doubt that you had won the fight, or when they were reading the decision, were you a little nervous at any point?
My cornermen were super confident that I had won, so it was giving me confidence, but I didn't want to be too hyped because I knew it was super close. But when I heard unanimous, I could feel that I felt like I really won those last three.
Mm-hmm. And you called out Alexa Grasso, which I thought was perfect. How likely do you think it is that she would take that fight with you right now?
I think she already said something about that she would love to take that fight, so I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. What do you think, in terms of a game plan and approach to that fight, how do you think it would unfold?
Yeah, I mean, she's another great boxer, just like Rose is, so I could see it being similar.
Yeah, it sounds like they might be going to Mexico in February. Would you be willing to do that fight at Elevation and all that in Mexico City?
I don't know about Mexico, but we'll see.
Okay, great. Thank you, Aaron.
Congrats on the win tonight. That's now 2 wins you have over former champions in Jessica Andrade and Rose Namajunas. So what does that mean to you when you hear that?
I feel like, I'm building my own legacy. I'm 25 years old. I'm gaining these wins against super tough opponents, and I'm learning every time.
And just what did you think of the crowd tonight? It was
when the crowds just love the fight.
And I know this is kind of out of your hands. You mentioned Grasso. She reciprocates great. Timing wise, I mean, you want some time off? You look how serious anything is.
Yeah, I'll have to go home and see. I feel like after you win, you're so hyped you can't really tell. But I'll go home and see how I'm feeling.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Aaron, obviously, Alexa was a great call out. A win over Alexa put you right in there for the title mix. Do you want to get a couple of fights before that title shot, just to make sure that when you get there, you're ready and you're going to be able to defend that title?
Yeah, I feel like all my fights that I've had have kind of led me up to that point. And fighting against these levels of opponent, I think will really set me up. I don't want to fight people that are not necessarily ever going to be champs themselves. I feel like that's not going to give me the experience I need. So that's why I called someone like Alexa.
Going in there against Rose tonight, obviously, very, very dangerous early days. We've seen that in the past. So was it a thing just kind of being super careful in those first 2 rounds where you can then implement your grappling and take the fight down and just keep Rose guessing, which also opens up your striking too?
Exactly. I wanted to be patient. I feel like my last fight, I really ran into a lot, and I tend to do that. So being patient and working on my striking was something that was huge for me. And then, just changing the paces throughout the rounds to find that win.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I'm ready, guys.
Hey,
I'm
Brandon.
cold.
It is cold. Great performance, though. Obviously, to come back and win that dominantly, how good does that feel?
Man, what can I say, man? I feel just amazing, you know? I feel like I was saying this during my fight week, like all the vibes, all the environment around my training camp was on point, was just perfect. But I wanted to show that in my performance tonight, and I feel I did it, you know. I feel so connected. I feel all the pieces in the right place tonight. I was a dominant performance. This is the kind of performance I know I'm able to do in my next fights for sure.
You obviously took the time off for good reason and everything to come back and perform like that. I mean, did you have any internal doubts about how this would go? And is it validating that you came out and had that performance?
Yeah, I mean, at the end, we are human beings, you know. We are professional fighters and we are tough, you know. We are tough as fuck, but sometimes we need some time out. Just think about yourself. Spend some time with your loved ones. Recharge the battery and be 100% in the next one. That's what I did. And I showed that to the world tonight.
You staggered him a few times, especially in that fifth round. How hurt was he? Did he feel you were close to finishing it?
Yeah, I tried to finish the fight, I promise. I don't want to be reckless because I knew he was waiting for me for the counter and with the heavy punches, you know, with the overhand, the right overhand especially. So I tried to be very calm and try to be smart and very technique, put my discipline on the table. But even there, I tried to finish the fight. Just Amir had a really good endurance, a really good chin, and he supported damage.
For sure. Where do you think this ranks among like your best performances? You said you felt just so good in there, even like title-winning performances and stuff like that. Where does this one rank?
I would love to fight for the title tonight. You know, I mean, my goal is to keep these kind of performances in my next fight. But I mean, again, tonight I feel so connected. Everything was on point, was perfect. My timing, my distance, my takedown defense. So nothing, man. So hopefully I'm gonna put all my effort to show this to the world in my next fights.
Do you think, given the performance tonight, your name value, that you're kind of a star with a legacy in this division, is that enough to get the winner of Pantoja and Kai Asakura?
I don't know, man. I mean, hopefully, I want to be honest with myself. I think maybe I have to fight one more time before the title, but I don't know. I don't know what is the UFC thinking right now. Maybe they get so impressed with the performance tonight and say like, hey, maybe he can get the title next. But I mean, I know Royval is there, Kai Kara-France is there trying to get their opportunity for the title next. So I don't know. I'll be ready for whatever. I'll be ready for whatever. I can get some rematches with Royval. I don't want to fight with Kai again because I fought against him twice and I beat him. But if I have to do that, but I mean, Tatsuro Taira is there. Kai Asakura, let's see what happened in the fight against Pantoja. But if he loses, he can be the next one. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, ideally you want another fresh opponent, though. I know that was really helpful for you here, right?
Man, I know. Yes, man. I mean, that was amazing to fight with another person.
Congrats on the win tonight. First of all, just curious, I think you got you with a right hand in the third. Were you hurt at all during that fight? And I saw your ankles iced a little. So how's the leg?
Yeah, no, I throw a lot of kicks with my left leg. That's why, and he checked with the elbow sometimes. So that's why it's right now it's very painful. But he did that on purpose. Thanks so much, man. You're the best tonight. Not my performance, you. But yeah, so I throw a lot of kicks with my left leg, and that hurts, you know. Always after the fight, like 20, 30 minutes after, the pain start come. but nothing dangerous.
And were you able to hear the crowd tonight? Because there was Let's Go Brandon chants, Moreno chants, there was even Viva Mexico. So were you able to absorb that energy?
Man, for sure. I mean, those kind of moments is going to be in the bottom of my hair for all my life, you know, because I'm out of my country. I wasn't expecting that kind of support, you know, something more neutral, but all the love of the crowd, all the love of the Canadian fans, that was amazing to me, you know, and a few Mexican flags are around the arena. That was very cool. I mean, I just want to say thank you so much to all the Edmonton fans tonight.
Very cool. And, you mentioned you'd like a title shot. You might have to fight once more. And obviously there's that title fight with Kai Asakura. At this point, do you root for Kai Asakura? Because him winning gives you probably an easier path to the belt.
No, I don't root. I don't wish nothing bad against Pantoja. I don't, you know, I mean, I just want to watch the best fight ever. Who wins, just wins, and that's it. If I have to fight against Kai Asakura for the title, let's go. If I have to fight against Pantoja for the title, let's go. I think, especially in my last fight against him, I had to fix a few mistakes I did in that fight. But I think I already did it. I think I can beat Pantoja. Obviously, it's stupid to say that when you lose 3 times in a row with the same person. But man, I'm a fighter. I'm a competitor. I just want to fight and win.
And last one for me. You're already having other fighters call you out. Manel Kape was one tonight. He's already called you out. So does that tell you that your performance really was that good?
Sorry?
You're already being called out tonight. Manel Kape called you out tonight. Like, does that tell you that your performance was that good when people start calling you out?
Oh, so he has a fight, right?
I don't think he has a fight.
I think he has a fight.
Does he?
So I don't care.
Right here. It seemed when you were trying to stick the jab tonight that you were losing your footing on the canvas. Did it seem a little bit slippy out there?
The canvas was so weird. You know, the canvas was, I feel very, how you say in English, like, me resbalé, sleep a lot.
Slippy.
Kind of, you know, the canvas was the problem.
Yeah, that jab was excellent tonight. Also, your left hook did a lot of damage to Amir Albazi. It kind of shut him down a little bit on the feet. Was that something that you were preparing to do with your camp heading into this?
Yeah, all the time. You know, this performance is the performance I was expecting by myself in my last fights, you know? And that's why I was saying during my fight week, like, my team and I, we are so frustrated because we know what Brandon Moreno can do in the fight. But for some reasons, the result is not what we expected, you know. But tonight we did it, and the goal is to keep this run until the title for sure.
You talked on the media day about maybe not having that final push against Brandon Royval. Was there some nerves going into the fight tonight that, you know, maybe the same thing might happen, or did you come to the realization early that, you know, you are going to be able to finish strong tonight?
I don't understood, sorry.
So you talked at the media day against Brandon Royval. Normally, rounds 4 and 5, you are strong. You finish strong.
Yes.
You didn't have that against Royval. You know, was there any worry tonight in that fight that the same thing was going to happen?
Man, tonight I was on fire. Tonight I wasn't worried about nothing. Okay, I don't know. I was telling that because with Royval, I feel like my mind wasn't there. You know, I wasn't automatic, just fighting, throwing punches, doing whatever. But tonight, again, everything was connected. Every piece was in the right place, and I was ready to fight with everybody if it was necessary.
You talked about it being a difficult decision for you to miss out on the UFC Noche event. I guess you could get a Mexico event next year that would make up for missing out on that Noche event. Would you be hoping to go down to Mexico to fight next year?
Man, let's see what happens. I think UFC has amazing plans for the next year. And other thing is hard for us, for not just for me, but for the Mexicans. I mean, Noche UFC was very cool. The production, all the effort UFC did for us was amazing. Was just a magical night. that night at the Sphere. But the results of the fight was like kind of, a lot of losses from the Mexicans, me losing in Mexico in last February. So I think we have this little pressure to show the UFC why they are doing all this effort for us. So, but the good thing is UFC is still there, no? They're still putting all the effort to grow up the Mexican market. So I think we'll have more opportunities in the future for sure.
Congratulations on the win and enjoy your pizza.
Oh, thanks, man. So we finish or what happened? No? Yeah? Really? Let's go. Guys, see you. Thank you so much.